What do you think?
You just had to make the joke, didn't you? Even though Phil finished strong, Brooks didn't finish strong, so it must have been the 54 holes.
Brooks would have won a live event.
He would have. He would have. But yesterday, and really the entire tournament, and after the first two rounds, it kind of became a two-horse race, and Phil entered the chat, and Spieth tried to enter the chat before his bogey on 18. There were a couple of guys that tried to make runs on Sunday, but the lead was just too insurmountable. It was really a two-horse race from late Friday on. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, and a good two-horse race, I might add. It felt like the last year of golf came together in that final pairing. I know we wanted like Rory versus Cam Smith, maybe another duel like we had at the Open last year, the PGA Tour versus LIV, but we got maybe LIV's most vulnerable personality going against the best golfer in the world right now, I would argue, in Jon Rahm.
Yeah, he's got 4 wins now this year.
And they both played good golf. Rahm played great golf on that final round. But even just the way the day started, Gabe, where they had all night to think about their putts to continue their third round on Sunday morning. And Rahm gets 2 shots back in the first 2 minutes of the day. It felt like it was setting itself up for an unbelievable Sunday back nine finish at Augusta. We didn't quite have the back nine drama we've seen in years past, but it really felt like golf got its villain back.
So do you think that drew you more in, the fact that there was somebody maybe to root against? Because I felt complicated in my feelings for Brooks as it went on. Because certainly he is going to be painted as the villain. Certainly Phil Mickelson dresses as the villain.
Yeah, his whole Darth Vader thing has got to go. Like, he tries too hard. Like, it was like the skin-tight outfits a couple of years ago, like that he tried to wear medium, and he's a large. And now it's like the black aviators with the all black. Like, come on, man.
My problem with Phil wasn't the fact that he wore the black aviators with the all black and trying to be the bad guy. You can't hide. You can't then turn down the press conference opportunity that Augusta National offered you. Say, no, I don't want to do that. I'll just take the 2 questions from the media outside and call it a day. Like, you can't hide. You can't show up to the Champions Dinner and literally not say a single word to anyone. Like, if you're going to be the bad guy, be the bad guy. You can't just be the brash bad guy after you drop 65 for the first time since Tiger turned pro at Augusta National.
But this is good. Like, it's good that Phil is leaning this far into the bad guy. Because you almost wondered, the press was so bad for him for so long. Maybe he would try and save his image, and he's almost leaned even further into, all right, I'm the bad guy. And I'm okay with that. Patrick Reed, leaning into the bad guy with all of his lawsuits and all that.
He still thinks he's the good guy, though. He's delusional.
There's a lot of narcissism going there. But it's interesting what you say about Brooks, because I also felt a little complicated, but I think it was complicated because of the Netflix documentary. He automatically turned into a villain in my mind, and I was a huge Brooks Koepka fan before he went to LIV. I used to buy the shoes. Like, I loved his Nike shoes. I definitely was one of those guys who's like, oh, that's cool what Brooks is wearing at this major. Like, I want to get those shoes.
I hope you never bought a hat, because for whatever reason, Nike always gave him the ugliest sin hats, like the dual colors and the Nike like boxy, sideways. Yeah, it was weird.
Hats. No. But because I watched the Netflix documentary, I felt a little happy for Brooks having this success because of the mental demons that he had on full swing on Netflix. Highly recommend you watch it if you want to learn a little bit more about some of the individuals on the PGA Tour and on LIV. But I also found myself rooting for Jon Rahm more than Brooks Koepka instead of just rooting for good golf at Augusta. And that's why I hadn't felt that way in the first few elevated events of this PGA Tour schedule, because everybody's a good guy right now on the PGA Tour, right? Like, it was kind of nice to have that PGA Tour versus Live feeling throughout this weekend.
There's a rules controversy with Brooks. Like he's a lightning bolt, right? That draws in these things. Ultimately wasn't penalized. I don't know if we'll really get into that. But
kind of has that smug look on his face that has won him a lot of big tournaments in his PGA Tour career. But you almost you leaned into all right, he was just kind of he's too cool. Right, that was always the Brooks Koepka. He's too cool, and he never practiced, and he always showed up at the big events. That's what made him likable. But on this stage, it felt different. It felt like the guy who sold his soul to the devil, and I couldn't find myself truly rooting for him. But I was so intrigued by his success that it made it an entertaining watch for me.
My feelings about Brooks have always been complicated, and I think Liv just complicates it further. I understood his decision after seeing Full Swing. After seeing his episode, which is the second episode of Full Swing on Netflix, I went, oh, okay, this guy just, lost it. He just doesn't think he's getting it back, and he's cashing in.
He's mentally worn down.
He's mentally worn down. He just doesn't think he has it anymore. And I don't know if that made me respect him more, but I certainly understood the decision more. And part of me, even pre-Live, my relationship, I feel, with Brooks was always complicated. He won the U.S. Open in my state. He won it at Erin Hills, a place that I hold very dear in my heart.
Yeah.
So I respect that. The alpha showing up at majors and going, yeah, I'm one of these guys. And just the way he performs at major golf championships makes me respect him. But the whole trying to be too cool, I love golf, man. And I want you to love golf. The way that Jon Rahm loves golf, the way that Rahm talked very eloquently about history and how much it meant to him, and the way he was in his press conference just flabbergasted and just speechless after Gary Williams of Golf Channel, actually Gary Williams of SiriusXM Golf now, no longer with Golf Channel, but Gary Williams said, hey, you're the first European to ever win the Masters and U.S. Open. And him going, really? I can't believe that. And we know how hard he works and all these different things. We know how hard Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, all these great players of the past and now his contemporaries work at the game. And through the Netflix series, we understand that he also works that hard. He's putting on, the carpet of his living room, trying to get the putting stroke down. Little one of us moment. Whomst among us has never done that. But it's the whole insistence of, I wish I'd have played a real sport. Yeah, I mean, I'm a real athlete. These guys aren't athletes. The holding himself above everyone else and then going to Live, and it's just always so complicated. But him, the complicated part for me is Brooks is undoubtedly the villain. But him playing the way he did was undoubtedly great for the viewing yesterday.
Yeah.
Him being atop of the leaderboard, trying to battle it out. One of the best major champions of his generation. 4 major titles. A bunch of second-place finishes. Somebody who's been there. Against a guy who's trying to ascend and get to that spot, who just picked up his second major. That's thrilling television to watch. Because you do have, as you mentioned, that villain involved. And
I don't know if it's as entertaining if it's Rahm against Scheffler. Just because of the backstory of Liv this year.
Sure. But also, who Brooks is. Because he's a little smug. He's got a little a-hole in him.
Yeah.
Right? That, and he was naturally a villain when he was on the PGA Tour. I think he probably leaned more villain than hero because of the attitude and the way he carried himself and the brashness and, I'm better than everyone here type attitude that he had.
It almost makes me think of somebody like Kobe Bryant, who for a lot of his NBA career leaned into being the villain.
Mm-hmm.
It was only a couple final years of his NBA career where he became the hero.
Where we start seeing Kobe give back to the game, which honestly kind of tracks the career arc of Tiger Woods. If you want to have a Kobe comparison, it's probably Tiger, where he's beloved. No doubt he's a Richard. That dude wouldn't, he wasn't giving the time of day to anybody because he was so internally motivated. I'm not going to share my state secrets. Now he's buddies with JT, see him, chuckling with everybody as they go out and play. Him and Rory are buddies. And you think in the prime of his career, after he won that first major, he's sitting down with a couple of people on 13 Green Jackets, the special they had on Saturday before the coverage really didn't air on CBS on Saturday. No, but this Tiger Woods certainly sits down and has those conversations.
Yeah, it's fascinating for where the arc goes for Brooks Koepka from here. Is he just going to be the guy who shows up for 4 tournaments out of the year and is the villain? Or is he going to try and work his way back into the good graces of golf fans everywhere? Because he's proven that he can still compete at that level that we saw this weekend. And his decision to go to LIV was at the low point of his career, right? Where he didn't know if he mentally and physically and, could get back to that level of talent. Now he's proven that. So where do we go from here? I think it's such a fascinating thought for a lot of these LIV guys is where do they go in a couple of years, assuming what the future of LIV looks like if it continues on this kind of downward trajectory.
And therein lies another complication of Brooks Koepka or anybody who went to LIV Golf. They splintered it, man. And undoubtedly, I will say what LIV Golf has done has been great for the PGA Tour and the players that remain there to come together and have these elevated/designated events, whatever you want to call them, and have the best players in the world playing against each other more often. We've gotten some great events. We've gotten Homa Rahm down the stretch at Riv. Rahm trying to chase down at Waste Management Phoenix. That Scotty ultimately wins. We had some really good events so far this year. But there are some guys on LIV that could be part of that conversation. And what LIV ultimately did, while maybe they made everybody in the game more money, they also splintered it. And now we can only see Phil Mickelson go up against, who knows what Phil's got left in the tank, man. The fact that the dude just finished T2 at Augusta just blew my mind. But someone like Brooks, Cam Smith, Dustin Johnson, guys who I think still have something left in the tank, what LIV did is ultimately our opportunity to see these guys go head-to-head more. And now we've only got 3 more opportunities for the rest of the year.
Which almost builds up the final 3 majors even more. Seeing that 12 of the 18 LIV guys made the cut at the Masters and that 3 of them were top 5.
Yeah.
I think it's great for the final 3 majors of the year.
But the problem with the final 3 majors, how many LIV guys are they going to have in them? How many of these guys are actually going to go through the local sectional qualifying that's available to them for the U.S. Open and British Open? You got to have certain world ranking points, and some of them still have it in order to qualify for the PGA, or if you have exemptions left from past major championships that you've won. But a lot of those guys don't have those exemptions.
But enough of the big names do. That will, the ones most of them who made the cut are major champions or U.S. Open champions. And
maybe this is looking forward too much. Brooks has 1 Masters exemption left. If LIV is still going strong next year and Brooks doesn't finish top 12 or win another major, that's it for him at Augusta National. That's it. Until LIV does whatever LIV does or the Masters opens up more of their qualification process to include LIV. I have no idea. I don't know what happens.
Yeah, it's fascinating. These guys made their bed. The PGA Tour moved on. But, man, was it fun to watch the good versus evil this weekend. I think it was good for the game. I really do.
So many people, I'm just watching, yesterday was Easter Sunday. I was with my family. My mom saying, how much she despises Brooks Koepka because he went to LIV. There were real feelings like that out there for a lot of families watching it. And again, having LIV versus PGA Tour and having that conflict, that's ultimately what we love in sport.
Yeah.
Is having that conflict come down to the end the way it did at Augusta National yesterday. Still plenty to dive into with everything that happened at Augusta National yesterday. We'll do more of that coming up next. And it's all about the drive presented by our friends at Ewald Automotive tonight on the Tee.
Back to the course and on the tee with Gabe and Steven after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Golf season is here, so make plans to play at Erin Hills. Erin Hills is the 9th-ranked public golf course in the nation. This beautiful course hosted the U.S. Open, U.S. Amateur, and in September, host of the USGA Mid-Amateur. Erin Hills is open all summer long. Book your reservations now for your golfing and lodging needs. If you want to plan ahead, Erin Hills is also accepting pre-booking for the 2024 golf season. You can search availability and begin your trip at erinhills.com. That's ERIN Hills.com.
A wide array of opportunities abound at Waste Management.
They do whatever they can to make sure that you're set up for success, both within the career and just in your personal life as well. The benefits that are offered here are honestly some of the most insane benefits that I've ever seen. They're paying for people to go to college. They invest in the employees as human beings. I've never seen anything like that.
Join the Waste Management family. Just search online, Waste Management Careers.
Hunger Task Force has had copier printers from James Imaging Systems in multiple Wisconsin locations for over 10 years. Associate Director Matt King, why James Imaging Systems?
We trust James Imaging because they're a local business that understands the local community and the needs that we have here.
Has that had a positive impact?
Absolutely. James Imaging staff have made the copying and document imaging within the office really easy and efficient so that we can focus on our mission.
Matt, any advice to other local businesses that would like to make their document imaging processes faster, easier, and more efficient?
Yeah, I would tell them to call James Imaging because they provide great service and they provide customer-oriented solutions.
James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned company with a 100% commitment to the success of your business. Call 262-781-7700. James Imaging Systems, your local office technology partner.
Don't miss your chance to see the legends of golf when they come to Central Wisconsin this summer. Watch your favorite players like Steve Stricker, Ernie Els, Jerry Kelly, Padraig Harrington, and more up close as they battle for the 43rd U.S. Senior Open Championship at Century World in Stevens Point. June 27th through July 2nd. Buy your daily, weekly, or premium tickets now at ussenioropen.com. That's ussenioropen.com.
Milwaukee has relied on Ewald Automotive to keep them on the road for almost 60 years. We've been on a mission to provide the best experience whether you're servicing your car or shopping for a new one. Ewald may span across southeast Wisconsin, but our commitment remains local. Our customers are our neighbors. We live, work, and raise our families together in the same communities. And that's why it's our goal to help you find the right car for your family.
Go to EwaldAuto.com.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart, located at 16th and National in Milwaukee. National Liquor Mart is packed with deals for all your beverage needs, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily.
The regular season is now over for the Bucks after an 0-2 weekend to close things out. First, a home loss to the Grizzlies on Friday night, 137-114, and a 121-105 loss in Toronto on Sunday. However, the Bucks regulars not appearing in either of the final two games. And now as Coach Bud knows, it's time to focus on the playoffs.
To have, I think us improve in a lot of areas. Our defense is something that we hang our hat on. And individually, a lot of guys, played well, collectively played well. And now it's, time to get ready for the postseason.
The Bucks will open their playoff run on Sunday against the 8th seed in the East, which will be determined by this week's play-in game.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart. You're listening to On the Tee with Gabe Neitzel and Stephen Watson on 94.5 ESPN.
We've all been there. You're on the golf course and the group in front of you just can't get going. Slow play is an epidemic. It starts in the PGA Tour. We talk about that right now on the tee.
Sometimes it's all about the drive. But off the tee, it's all about the drive. The best and biggest shots of the weekend.
That house is like 400 yards away.
Is that good?
That's unbelievable.
It's all about the drive on the Tee is brought to you by Ewald Automotive. Shop the Ewald Automotive Group, home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile limited warranty on all new vehicles. Visit any of their 8 locations today, in-store or online at ewaldautomotive.com. Ewald Automotive, we make it easy.
Now, I knew we were going to be in for a long final round at Augusta National yesterday when, after Rahm and Koepka putted out on the first, both making 4s. And it took them a little while to play that hole just because Brooks hit his so far left he was on the 9th fairway and figure out distances, what he's going to hit. Still miraculously made a 4. But after they put it out, they go, okay, now time for the tee shots on 2. And then Cantlay and Victor Hovland were teeing off. So at least early, it wasn't all Patrick Cantlay. But by the end of the day, it was mostly Patrick Cantlay, who was just playing so slow. Like, to the point where I want to salute Victor Hovland. Good on you. I don't know if you saw this video out there, Steven, but there is a video on 13, the famed 13th hole at Augusta, where Cantlay he hasn't even crossed the tributary to Rays Creek. He is walking up to the green, and Victor Hovland's like, screw it. I am not waiting for him to come up here. I am hitting my chip shot by the green.
It's amazing that this happens at that level because slow play is without question the most frustrating part of golf. I like to play fast, faster than most, but pace is really important to me on the golf course. It's just another thing for me to blame my golf game on. If somebody in front of me is slow, it's just another reason I didn't play well that day. You know, guys in front of me were just too slow. But it's amazing at that level on that stage, we could have this type of problem. And we've seen it with other players in years past, and they're trying to find solutions to it, and I don't know what that solution is. But if you're Patrick Cantlay, at some point, take a hint. Nope. If the guy you're playing with is literally a shot and a half in front of you, what do you think the guys behind you are thinking?
Well, funny, we can tell you what the guys behind them were thinking because Brooks Koepka is an incredibly fast player. He wants to play quickly. Same thing with Jon Rahm. I don't think Jon Rahm's ever been accused of slow play in his PGA Tour career. And, well, Brooks let the world know what Rahm was trying to do to at least try to slow himself down throughout the round yesterday.
Brooks, you're a pretty fast player, as we know. Just curious your thoughts on the pace of play this afternoon.
Yeah, that group in front of us was brutally slow. I mean, John went to the bathroom like 7 times during the round, and we were still waiting. So,
I believe it was 16, where Rahm went to the bathroom, came back, and Cantlay still had not even hit the putt. Like, Hovland didn't go. It was still the same initial putt that Patrick Reed was trying to read and figure out. Like, it is bad.
Could you imagine contending for a Masters and you're trying to kill time while the group in front of you is just out of contention at this point and just taking their sweet time? Like, how infuriating that must have been for Rahm and Koepka. Like, this game is hard enough. This game is mentally taxing enough. And then you throw the back 9 at Augusta and having to pee 7 times just to kill some time and keep your mind right. Like, we got to fix this. And I love me some Patrick Cantlay. He won the U.S., a Ryder Cup.
I'm out on Cantlay. I hope he never makes a Ryder Cup team again.
But, man, like...
all the way out. Like, there have been slow players.
He's so boring, too. It doesn't help the brand.
No.
To be boring and slow.
No.
Like, you got to offer something.
Give me something. Give me literally anything. Because Kevin Na, waggled 6 million times about a decade ago, got that under control, was still an incredibly slow player, and now that's Live Golf's problem, him playing as slow as he plays. But slow play, it just ticks me off. I had slow players. I went out. I was one of the people out there on Saturday playing golf. We had a group in front of us at Brown Deer. It was cart path only. And, oh boy, when it's cart path only, you might as well be walking because you're doing more walking back and forth from the cart anyway.
Yeah, serious intervention for anybody listening out there. Always walk over golf cart.
Cart path only.
Cart path only.
Yep.
It's always faster to walk.
Always faster the walk. You can just rent the little push cart. It's cheaper than the
and you're
Bev
doing the
cart
same
than that
amount
anyway.
of walking.
Correct, if not more. I guarantee I walked way less than the people in front of me because they had to walk out to their shot, walk back. Walk out to their shot, walk back. Like, it was just way too much. And it drove me nuts on Saturday. And then I have to sit at home and watch Patrick Cantlay's slow ass try to read a putt after, Rahm had to go. He went to the bathroom 7 times. That is outrageous.
Is there anyone more vanilla on the PGA Tour than Patrick Cantlay?
No.
I'm out on Cantlay too, man.
Yeah.
I'm about to flip this desk.
Yeah, I'm all the way out. All the way out. If you're going to be that slow. Again, Kevin, there are plenty of slow players in the history of this game. Kevin Na being one of the biggest ones. This is the first time I've ever seen a playing partner go, no, you're too slow. I'm playing, because 13 wasn't the only time that Victor Hovland just decided to play ahead of Patrick Cantlay. In his own group. Just decided a couple of times, nah, I ain't waiting for this dude.
How do we fix this, Gabe?
I don't know. I wish I knew. Ben Brust, after we joined their show, Scalzo and Brust, 4 to 6 here on 94.5 ESPN, jokingly brought up the pitch clock and the way it's really helped out baseball. I don't know. Is it having a marshal with every group and sitting out there with a stopwatch timing these guys? Because there are rules if you fall out of place, and these guys fell off pace. If you're a hole behind, you get put on the clock. And then if it takes more than 40 seconds for you to hit a shot, you're supposed to get a warning. Second time, you start losing strokes. The problem is, the only person I can think of that's ever been hit with a slow pay stroke penalty was a 14-year-old who had qualified winning the Asian Pacific a decade ago at Augusta National. They decided to make an example out of the 14-year-old, yet decided to let Patrick Cantlay, whose own partner couldn't stand him anymore, do whatever he wanted yesterday.
But the problem is the margins are so small at that level that if you assess a stroke, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, and if you are going to even throw somebody off their game, even a little whisper in the ear, I just feel like at that level, there needs to be some sort of rule instituted about, I guess, pace of having a ranger. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but these guys are competing for hundreds of thousands of dollars with every single stroke. Yep. It's tough to tell somebody, you got to move it, buddy.
But the problem is, Steven, the best way I've ever heard somebody explain this to me, I listen a lot of other different golf podcasts, one of my favorite ones being the Shotgun Start. Andy Johnson, who works and does a lot of stuff for thefriedegg.com, is one of the co-hosts. And they were talking about slow play on their podcast, so I want to give correct attribution to Andy, who said, part of what Tom Brady does is impressive because he has to do it in 3 to 5 seconds. If you give Tom Brady 20 seconds to stand back there, it's not impressive anymore. It's just being able to do something with pace adds to the impressiveness and the level in which you can do it. Yeah, Tom Brady, you let him do whatever he wants back there. I mean, the reason why he lost 2 of the 3 Super Bowls he lost is because teams could get a pass rush on him, and they made him hurry up. You give him all day, yeah, he'll pick it apart. But if you just give these guys all the time in the world, it becomes less impressive. Being able to do it in a smaller time frame and being able to do it within a certain set of rules, that adds to the impressiveness. Oh, you're able to process this information once you got up to the green. It's going to do this. That adds to the impressiveness, and that adds to a skill. That's a skill in order to be able to do that quickly.
Somebody like Cantlay is slowest on the greens because he takes forever to line up his putts. He literally stands over his ball for what feels like an eternity.
Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
Which it gives me anxiety thinking about watching him putting, because I just go through all my mental demons when I watch him stand over a ball for 45 seconds. So maybe it's a situation where you only get to read your putt once, or your caddy can help you once on the green, or can only help you for 10 seconds. It's a lifeline. I don't know, but if you're standing over a ball, what are they going to do? Stopwatch you and be like, oh, 1 stroke. I think the only thing you could possibly do is be like, you can't go to the other side of the green to read your putt. You can only be, within a 3-foot radius of where your golf ball is when you read putts.
They need to figure out pace of play. And I know they just got into this brand new TV deal, so they've got time. But if baseball decided that 3 hours was too long for people to be tuning in, what makes you think that 5.5 hours is going to be acceptable to play around a golf?
The one thing that golf can save itself from something like baseball is that you can just watch somebody else play in that time.
Yeah.
You can cut away to whoever, and you know what? Cantlay just misses his shot, and we'll watch it back in replay.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball, you're locked in, and the pitcher holds the ball, and we're all standing there waiting for the pitcher to throw that ball.
It's a good point.
For golf, it's, all right, we're just going to go to the next guy. But it does. But if it's impacting the best on the biggest stage, and now all of a sudden you have an audience around you that are your tour members that are complaining about it, that's a problem.
Without a doubt. We get into the Masters champion, and he had an interesting up and down. Golf tournament wasn't really on the line for him at that point. Kind of wrapped things up. But there was an interesting question that was flown out there on Twitter. I'm going to throw it out to Steven. We'll talk about that coming in next on the tee. But first, I do want to tell you about our friends at Century World. Don't miss your chance to see the legends of golf when they come to Central Wisconsin this summer. Watch your favorite players like Steve Stricker, Ernie Els, Jerry Kelly, Padraig Harrington, and more up close as they battle for the 43rd U.S. Senior Open Championship at Century World in Stevens Point. June 27th through July 2nd, buy your daily, weekly, or premium tickets now at USSeniorOpen.com. That's USSeniorOpen.com. It's going to look spectacular on TV, but you're going to want to be there as well to see the best. USSeniorOpen.com.
No ifs, ands, or puts. There's more On the Tee with Gabe and Steven coming up on 94.5 ESPN. It's all about the drive. On the Tee is brought to you by Ewald Automotive. Shop the Ewald Automotive Group, home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile limited warranty on all new vehicles. Visit any of their 8 locations today, in-store or online at ewaldautomotive.com. Ewald Automotive, we make it easy.
After a crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the knowledge and experience to make sure you're protected. And we're here to help whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
The World Eating Championship Burrito has arrived at Qdoba, featuring freshly grilled chicken, Qdoba's custom 3-cheese queso, hand-smashed guacamole, roasted tomato salsa, cilantro lime rice, and black beans. Packed with flavor and featured in the first ever World Burrito Eating Championship. It's available for a limited time only, exclusively online at Qdoba.com or on the Qdoba app. It's the World Eating Championship Burrito. Available now at Qdoba.com and the Qdoba app until April 21st.
Life's more rewarding at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. We're the lawn and garden experts, offering unbeatable prices on supplies to build out your dream yard. Like 36-pound bags of estate weed and feed, just $32.99. Rewards members get a free $10 Blaine's gift card with $80 spent on estate fertilizer. Select 20-pound bags of estate grass seed, $10 off. Plus, get a free $10 Blaine's gift card when you buy select bags of Hill's Science Diet dog or cat food. Shop our new Blaine's Farm and Fleet store in Grafton, located at 1771 Wisconsin Avenue.
The best quality roofs, siding, windows, and doors, expertly installed and at an affordable price. Hi, this is Bo from Ridgetop Exteriors. We're the trusted local experts you can count on for your home exterior projects. There's a reason so many customers recommend us after we help with their projects. Go to ridgetopexteriors.com for a free estimate.
At Evans Transportation, they love the sound of Milwaukee baseball. Bats cracking, crowds cheering, brats grilling. And Evans is a big fan of manufacturing runs, both on the diamond and in supply chain management. When manufacturers have accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, they come to Evans. Because just like in baseball, teams who know how to manufacture runs have the best chance of long-term success. Good luck to the Brew Crew from Evans and Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com.
Woo! I am thirsty today. Definitely gonna need a cold one. There's the one. When it comes to Potosi Brewing Company, I love that they're local and always giving back. This week, Wonder, one of their sales ambassadors, is going to tell us about some new beers and their cool initiatives.
We are releasing 2 new beers. That is a hazy IPA, and it's called Hazy Bluffs for the bluffs of the Mississippi River. And we're also releasing a NA beer. But what's great about Potosi is all profits go to charity. We donated over $11,000 to a children's hospital in Iowa because we're so close to Iowa, and we just donated to a children's camp. So when you do drink Potosi, you are giving back to the community.
Thanks to Wonder from Potosi Brewing Company for giving us insight on all the great things Potosi is up to. And remember, folks, the fridge is always stocked.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find families for children who've lingered in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. One call, that's all.
They talk about everything, but sports always comes first.
Abuse toward the Packers and the Jets needs to wait if they can get the Rodgers deal agreed to by the end of the draft. I'm giving them that time.
It's too late then. I'm saying they're screwing up right now by not doing it.
Man, it's April. Do you know when the first game is?
Because your assumption is that the game is seasonal. The game is year-round now. It's not seasonal anymore. There's work to be done already.
Spend your afternoons with Homer and Tony, weekdays 2 to 4 on 94.5 ESPN. This is On the Tee with Gabe Neitzel and Stephen Watson on 94.5 ESPN.
For those people who believe in jinxing other players, people, and whatever it may be, Thursday morning, when I was getting on the golf cart to get to this putting green 10 minutes before my tee time, I saw a text from a good friend of mine, and I'm going to name him because he is a Super Bowl winning champion, Zach Ertz. He said the text. I'm gonna paraphrase here, but he said, "That first green looking like a walk in the park or something like that right now. 10 minutes before I 4-putted to start the tournament." So, thank you, Zach. Don't ever do that again, please.
4-putt doubles just... Apparently that's what you want to do at Augusta National. That's how you become a Masters champion nowadays.
There's some beautiful symmetry in the last two champions, Gabe Neitzel. It was Scotty Scheffler winning the green jacket on a 4-putt and Jon Rahm starting his pursuit of a green jacket on a 4-putt. Can we get the clap going? One of us. One of us. One of us. I love when those guys do that.
And he just gives the Sevy, after the round. He's like, I really like the way I hit all 4 of those putts. I miss, I make. That's how I 4-putted.
Let me tell you, I 4-putted a lot, and I didn't like all 4 of my putts.
I've seen you putt. I don't think you 4-putted.
Oh,
I think that's a lie. No. A 3-putt on occasion I can see. 4-putt, I think you're making it up.
No. We didn't play together in the final month of the golf season there. I lost it. Got to get the big stick back this summer. I lost it toward the end of last year.
Really?
Yeah, we talk about mental demons a lot on this show, and
sure.
That club and the wedges, just
what was happening?
I bought a new golf grip for my putter in the off season to just try and just reset.
Seriously,
I was mentally defeated with that club at the end of last year, which is a rather important club in your golf bag. So I bought a brand new golf grip for my putter, and I'm getting new wedges. I'm just going full clean slate.
So you got a thicker grip on the putter, you are just same
a little
type
more
of
tacky.
grip. Okay,
yeah.
Just I got a new one, same size, just a new one.
Yeah, I don't want to change too much because that used to be my sword.
I understand,
and
which is why I don't believe the 4-putt thing. But right now, everything I know about you and your golf game is fundamentally shaking and me to my core right now.
But I'm searching for answers, and my answer is maybe it just needs a new grip. Not
Sure.
a new feel, but just a little more tackiness.
Yeah.
And Stephen of old will return.
Yeah, just a little, just a little something. Take care of the putter, and the putter will take care of you.
I like that.
And
that's my baby.
You gave it a new grip.
Maybe
nice,
sleep
shiny
with
new
it
grip.
tonight because I'm going to try and get out there tomorrow morning. I don't know, for the first round of the year.
And don't put in too much to that first round because my guess is if the greens at Wisconsin Club are going to be anything like they were at Brown Deer, which is just down the street. You know how when you play in the morning, you see the line of your putt because of the dew? You can see, as it just misses low to the hole, you can kind of see the path, and you're like, yeah, okay. Well, you could do that, but that was because of all the sand on the greens. Because, again, you're trying to grow the greens. They haven't cut them yet. I fully understand. I 3-putted 4 times on Saturday. Really don't care because, it doesn't really matter.
You know what's
you're
awesome
out there playing. It's
about
great.
this week of golf is that there's just no expectation. Like, we're playing
Correct.
golf on April 10th, and we know that snow is probably coming on, April
No, you
16th,
shut your mouth when you're talking.
right? Like, this is our...
You're the second person that said that to me today.
I
Chewy
haven't
was
looked
the first.
at a forecast.
Yeah, I know.
But I just know it's coming. I'm setting myself up
No.
for the disappointment when I play a couple of rounds only to have to sit back on the sidelines until the grass is ready again.
Look, it's going to be like 60s and 70s. Like, today was gorgeous outside. It was absolutely gorgeous. Thursday, it's supposed to get to 75. Wednesday is 77 this week. I'm not saying that we've arrived and we've hit summer and we're going to, be hanging out in the 60s and 70s. I understand we've got a couple of 40s and 50s in our future still. I am telling you right now, I am guaranteeing you, I am putting the Gabe Neitzel guarantee on it. We are done with snow.
I sure hope you're right. I'm looking at the forecast myself right now.
It looks so nice.
There's one day that has 32 on it, and that's all I'm going to say.
That's a low. What's the high that day?
40-something?
Yeah, 47 probably. It's fine. It's fine. It's going to be spring in Wisconsin.
I'm ready, baby. New year, new me. New putter grip.
Well, and so going back to our Masters champion, Jon Rahm, something that his caddy said after the round that has me really intrigued. Yeah, I don't think he's going to catch Tiger, but I think he can win double-digit majors. Guy's at 2. There are 4 players in the history of golf that have gotten to double-digit majors. To casually throw out that your player can do that, and look, I love the confidence. I think that's really difficult to do in today's day and age, but Rahm, in the way he played on the worst half of the draw, had to be a little bit more of a mutter than Brooks Koepka did, because Brooks got to play in decent enough weather and finish his round on Friday, where Rahm had to play in the bad stuff on Friday and then finish his round Saturday morning. Like, he's got it all. Like, there's not a shot he doesn't have. I know he loves playing the cut, but he showed, if I need to draw it, let me just hit the best drive of the week on 13 and just draw it around the corner a little bit and have less than 200 yards into the green on 13 as I'm trying to close this thing out on the back 9 at Augusta National. Little cut out of the rough, take a little more club, just kind of cut it beautifully, use the slope, just get it in, put the tournament away on 14. Yeah, I got that too.
By the way, 14 finally played a factor at Augusta.
After we
talked about it last week. Our least favorite hole in the course was the exclamation point on Jon Rahm's Masters win.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty fired up because I will now remember 14 at Augusta because of Jon Rahm.
Well, my previous memory at Augusta on 14, I believe that was the hole where the security guard almost ended Tiger's 2019 run before it began. You remember that?
No, enlighten me.
Oh. I wish video. I have been. If somebody knows where this video is, 800-990-3776 at gneitzel16 on Twitter. Tiger is in the left trees on Friday at Augusta. He's been playing pretty well. He's kind of hanging around. He's kind of loitering. Saturday was his good day to get him into that final group when they ended up going threesomes on Sunday, clearly, and he was 2 back of Molinari. But he's playing pretty well, and you're starting to feel the vibes. And on 14, he's left in the trees, and you're thinking, all right, he probably just have to punch out, try to get up and down. And he hit a spectacular shot. Towers out of the trees and hits it to 5 to 10 feet. And because he's in the trees amongst the patrons and it's wet, that Augusta, they had a lot of rain.
I remember this.
And he hits the shot, and the security guard is just so trying to do his job, trying to get in front of the people to make sure they don't come after Tiger. He slips almost takes out Tiger. Like his ankle oddly turns, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this guy just broke Tiger Woods' ankle, and he's not going to win the Masters this year.
I remember that. Yeah, that was a tough scene on national TV.
So
I remember when Colin Morikawa won those 2 quick majors, and I said on the first season of On the Tee that's a guy who I think could win upwards of double digits. And he cooled off. Can you conceivably see Rahm cooling off like Morikawa has? Or do you see Rahm going on a Koepka or Scheffler? Really, Koepka is probably a fairer comparison just from a major perspective.
Sure.
Like tear.
With this generation, and I'm talking more of the post-Tiger Phil, kind of starting around, maybe 2010, 2011, that generation of golfer. So starting early DJ, and Spieth is probably on the younger side of it, maybe. For the most part, those guys have won major championships kind of in a collection of time.
Yeah.
Spieth won 2 back-to-back, won a U.S. Open and won at Augusta, had a spectacular 2015, and then 2017 won.
Should have won at Whistling Straits, too. Jason Day had an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, doesn't just go crazy for his only major, but then wins in 2017. And, we've talked about Brooks and the time frame in which he won his, Rory in the time frame in which he won. Like, we're getting closer to a decade removed from Rory's last major championship win. Phil and Tiger have both won majors more recently than Rory McIlroy, which is just insane to think about.
It is.
And typically what these guys have done in this era is get hot and kind of collect those majors over the course of a 2 to 3 year span. I'm curious with Rahm being 28, still being on that side of 30, if he can be one of those guys like Phil, like Tiger, like Ernie Els, who spreads out those major victories en route to getting to 4, 5, like Phil 6. Because, he has the game that can travel anywhere because he does it all. He's got it all. He's got the short game, chip it, putt it, outside of the 4-putt on number 1. But we saw him hit some really good putts. He is, not Rory McIlroy, when it comes to distance and accuracy, he's been the best driver of the golf ball over the last 3-4 years. He can move it both ways. Iron play is stellar. Like, the guy's got everything. He should be able to compete at every major. And with that game, it seems like it should age gracefully. And presumably, he's somebody that should be able to collect majors. We just haven't seen it out of this era where, I won one in 2013, and then I won a couple more in 15, and then 17 I got one, 19 I got 2 more. We just haven't seen that the way we saw out of Tiger. And again, comparing it all to Tiger, he's an all-time great. But for the most part, or even, Phil, it took Phil a while, and then he still even spread his out, kind of sprinkled in there amongst Tiger's victories. We just haven't seen it. It's all been so condensed.
I know that we started this show talking about villains versus maybe the heroes of the game. I don't think anybody has become more likable for like golf nerds like us in the last year than Jon Rahm. I feel like he's taken on a whole nother level of stardom, really, in the sport. Of course, his performance on the course has been amazing, but if you actually listen to his press conferences and some of the interviews that he does, like, he's a very, very deep thinker, has an appreciation for the game like few do at that level. And there's one stat, Gabe, that I'm going to read out to you that stands out to me of why I think Jon Rahm might just be a generational talent, and we're seeing the beginning of something special. He's finished in the top 10 in more than half of his worldwide starts as a pro. 85 of 157.
That's outrageous.
Top 10.
That's outrageous.
That's a 54% success rate. He has more wins than missed cuts in that span. 20 wins to 14 missed cuts. At this level, with the amount of talent that is out there, you have to be knocking on the door. And Jon Rahm is consistently knocking on the door. He's got 6 wins and 12 worldwide starts this year.
Which is outrageous.
He might win 2 this year.
And I'll tell you what, to make it local for our fans here in Milwaukee, he reminds me a little bit, you know how Giannis can be really insightful?
Yeah.
And then you think, wait a second, he was just really insightful and graceful, and this is his second language.
such a good point.
It's the same thing with Jon Rahm. Like the way he can be so insightful and like still be able to connect with everybody and be that smart, intelligent in his second language.
Really makes you feel good about yourself, doesn't it?
Fantastic.
By the way, I saw an interview with Jon Rahm last night. It was with CBS This Morning. That he learned English from watching How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
Watching the sitcom over and over and over and understanding, like he understood English.
Sure.
He could, but saying it back and understanding like the emphasis behind certain words and, you know, how things come off as funny versus serious. He watched How I Met Your Mother on replay. The more you know. I knew I liked Jon Rahm before. Now I really
Now you're really in on Jon Rahm. We're out on Patrick Cantlay. We're in on Jon Rahm. Up is down. Black is white. We're cheering for the Euro. We're out on the American and a Ryder Cup year. Who knows what we're doing? I know what we're doing. We're going to make our picks. Our one call, that's all. Gruber Lofts' picks for an elevated event. Is that a mistake? We'll discuss that coming up next on the Tee.
Forget about changing that dial. More On the Tee with Gabe and Steven next on 94.5 ESPN.
Since 1964, Ewald Automotive has been on a journey to make car buying easier for your family. So if you want an easy experience, head to Ewald's 59th anniversary sale. Ewald guarantees the lowest price and includes their exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on new vehicles. Plus, with live market pricing, you'll never overpay for a used car. Shop over 1,000 vehicles. Ewald's anniversary sale is going on now through month end.
Go to ewaldauto.com. Golf season is here, so make plans to play at Erin Hills. Erin Hills is the 9th-ranked public golf course in the nation. This beautiful course hosted the U.S. Open, U.S. Amateur, and in September, host of the USGA Mid-Amateur. Erin Hills is open all summer long. Book your reservations now for your golfing and lodging needs. If you want to plan ahead, Erin Hills is also accepting pre-booking for the 2024 golf season. You can search availability and begin your trip at erinhills.com. That's ERIN Hills.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Jason Fitz.
I know it's shocking to hear from me, but I'm actually pumped for baseball season. Hear me out. I think this is the season that tries to get more casual people involved. I'm impressed that baseball is listening to the fact that they need to make some changes, and I'm excited to watch a game that frankly has some momentum coming off the World Baseball Classic. You know how much I loved it. And also has some momentum with a pitch clock. I know it seems like a small thing, but realistically, when you start talking about this baseball season, so many of the storylines are the same. The Astros are still really good and still really hated. The Yankees still spend a bunch of money and still have a bunch of stars. My beloved Mets, I get to say that as like a week-long fan. My beloved Mets are out here trying to make a difference. The storylines are vastly the same. So if you're Major League Baseball and you know, walking into the season, there's a huge percentage of your teams that don't have any chance at competing for a championship, you at least have to find a way to compartmentalize the rest of it and make it interesting. I think baseball's done that this year and deserves kudos for it. In 60 seconds, I'll tell you one thing we should have seen coming in the NBA.
This is C.J. McCollum, star of the New Orleans Pelicans and co-host of the C.J. McCollum Show.
McCollum at the horn for three. Got it!
Inviting you to join Israel Gutierrez and me once a week as we discuss names and storylines in and around the NBA with the inside perspective you can only get from someone in the locker room and on the floor. Listen to great guests and players such as Brandon Ingram and Andre Iguodala, and input from a great team of ESPN Insider regulars like Brian Windhorst, Tim McMahon, and Mark Spears. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We can get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we can take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
In the NBA, you got to be honest about this. Harry Douglas said it. The Lakers are going to go as AD goes. But maybe it's not that simple. Maybe they also have to go the way that Darvin Ham goes. I mean, Darvin Ham said afterwards a couple of weeks ago that the difference between the first half and the second half was he pushed AD to get more involved. Well, now that we see that that's the case and we see AD in some games and out of some games, don't you have to ask yourself how much of this is coach? How much of this is coach making the right play call at the right time to make sure that you're getting the best out of Anthony Davis. The Lakers are not going to go the way of LeBron throughout the course of this playoff. They're going to go the way of AD. My fear is they might actually go the way of Darvin Ham, and I'm not sure how much we should trust Coach in that situation to get the ball to AD instead of LeBron. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat from Fitz and Harry, I'm Jason Fitz.
For It's On the Tee with Gabe Neitzel and Stephen Watson on 94.5 ESPN.
Got to be quick here with our Gruber losses. One called That's All Picks. The Heritage. Hilton Head. I don't think you should have a elevated event right after Augusta, but here we are. These guys have played a lot. Who are you taking this week, Stephen?
First of all, I don't feel bad for these guys when your elevated event is worth $20 million purse.
That's fair.
I mean, they're paid to play golf. Like, I'm sorry you have to go from Augusta, Georgia to Harbortown. Like, man, tough. That being said, going into this show, I was going to pick Patrick Cantlay to win this as my Gruber Law Office's one call that's all pick. But I'm fully out of Camp Cantlay.
Good.
And with that, I'm going to take one of the best iron players in the game playing on the course with the smallest greens on the PGA Tour. Colin Morikawa is my pick to win at Harbortown. It's my Gruber Law Office's one call that's all pick this week.
It's a really strange... Like, when you look at the history of who has won here, and I understand it has been an elevated event, it's very, very weird. It's a hodgepodge. I don't know who's going to win. I'm going to say Cam Young finally gets it done, wins his first ever PGA Tour event. Why not? Playing well. I understand he drives the ball super far. Maybe he doesn't hit a ton of drivers, still has a distance advantage, and I think he's playing well enough. He'll get that first PGA Tour win. Get that monkey off his back.
The last two winners at this were Stuart Sink and Jordan Spieth. It makes literally zero sense. And Sink won it in a runaway.
He was 50, just ran away from everyone. I can't make sense of it, but it should be fun to watch because all the best players in the world once again gathering to play in one spot. Again, it's going to be a quirky golf course, but it's going to be fun, and we'll talk about it all next week right here on the tee.
The 2023 U.S. Senior Open is coming to Stevens Point soon. Buy your tickets now to join us June 27th through July 2nd at Century World. Our PJ's Champion Club tickets include a single-day general admission pass plus exclusive access to PJ's.